Now what you see in front of you is an episode from McHale's Navy, and the only reason I have it in front of you is because I know people need something to look at, and people love visuals. Probably 95% of viewing on YouTube is about visuals, and very little to none about audio. So I'm trying to focus simply on the audio, telling you of my encounters of people that I knew that were in the Second World War. It's October 2025, and my age is age 70. So I did not serve in military, and I didn't have any direct encounters with military in my life, but I had indirect encounters in that I knew individuals who served in the Second World War. Now, I'll tell you about an individual. His name was Bob, and I believe he was on an aircraft carrier or battleship. I'm not sure which it was. Can't remember for sure, but I do remember him telling me about the fear that he had and all those on board had of what were called kamikazes. And they knew that they might have a chance to defend themselves against air attack, but not necessarily against a kamikaze. So he never recalled any incident of any actual battles that he was in or any actual deaths that he observed. But he did share with me while they were on board, they feared the kamikaze. And I forget who it was, one of the commentators years ago, who had a very funny way of approaching commentaries. And he said, he always asked a question, and he said, tell me, why is it that Japanese kamikaze pilots would put on a helmet? Why is it that Japanese kamikaze pilots would put on a helmet? Now you have to understand, there has to be something that you fear. And the movies and different things that were shown to people that joined the military helped to create the fear. And of course, if you were going on board a ship, such as a battleship, there would be fear of the kamikaze pilot. And Bob had it, and he mentioned it to me many, many times about his experience in World War II in the Navy. No mention whatsoever of any battles that he was in, just the fact that they were all terrified that a kamikaze would attack the ship and destroy them. Now, fear is kind of the basis of war, because you fear that the enemy will win and you'll be overcome by that power. And then once there is a war set up, of course you fear all the weapons and all the tactics of what the enemy could do. Now, do they ever actually do it? So that's the question that you have to resolve. But if you watch someone like Dave Johnson, you will discover that your wars have been hoaxes. Now, it's not something that is easy to get out of. But one question you might want to ask yourself is, why would Hollywood or these movie producers and those who invest in in creating these things like McHale's Navy, why would they use so much comedy? Such as in Hogan's Heroes, McHale's Navy, I believe the British have one called Dad's Army. Why would they do this? If there have been so many lives that have been affected and so many lives that experience so many deaths, why would they even dare do this to the public? Now, McHale's Navy will come on television sets about 19 years after the end of World War II. Think about it. World War II, the wounds are still there, and yet this is the kind of stuff that's coming on television. Well, anyhow, I want to tell you a little bit about Bob and his fear of kamikazes. And you might ask the question then, well, why do they show kamikazes putting on a helmet before they take off to dive bomb into a battleship and destroy it as a human bomb? Thank you for watching. End of video.